Dear students, we will discuss something about partial equilibrium analysis of customs union. A custom union is an organization that includes two or more countries. They abolish tariff and other trade restrictions among themselves and adopt a common external tariff against non-member countries. Among member countries, one tariff rate will be there. Non-member countries, tariff rate will be different. In partial equilibrium analysis of customs union, Jacob Weiner opined that formation of customs union will not lead to countries' general welfare. Other economists like Mead, Lipsey, Langster, and H.G. Johnson contributed further for the development of this theory. This theory is based on various assumptions. You can go through these assumptions. See, the effects of customs union on production, consumption, and trade, given the above assumptions, can be explained in terms of trade creation and trade diversion due to customs union. Now, let us discuss something about first part, that is trade creation. The formation of customs union involves the abolition of tariff among member countries and imposition of common tariff against the rest of the world. It is supposed that the home country A is the least efficient country and its unit cost of producing a watch is rupees 1000. In the partner country B, which is more efficient, the unit cost of production of that watch is rupees 800. The rest of the world is represented by non-member country C, which is the most efficient, and the average cost of producing the same watch is rupees 700. If before the formation of customs union, the home country A imposes 100% tariff on all imports, the unit cost in B and C become rupees 1600, rupees 1400 respectively. In these circumstances, it is desirable for the home country A to produce the commodity domestically. They need not import watch from other countries. If the custom union is formed and duty is removed on imports from B, but it remains in the case of country C, the partner country B becomes the least cost country. Now, the home country will prefer to import watches from B rather than produce it domestically. So, the formation of customs union has resulted in the creation of trade. Now, let us discuss something about trade diversion, another part of this theory. It is possible that before the formation of customs union, a given commodity, that is watches, was being imported from the most efficient and the least cost country C. After the formation of the customs union, as the duty is removed from import from the partner country B, while it remains enforced on imports from C, the former becomes least cost country. In such a situation, the home country A will start importing watches from the partner country B rather than non-member country C. Thus, there is diversion of trade from outside country C to the partner country B after the formation of customs union. It may be explained through the below table. You can refer this table. The above table shows that the unit costs of watch in the home country A, partner country B, and non-member country C before the formation of customs union were rupees 1000, rupees 800, rupees 600 respectively. Thus, country C was the least cost or the most efficient country, and the home country A was the highest cost country. As the home country imposes 50% duty on all imports, the unit cost in A, B, C become rupees 1000, rupees 1200, rupees 900 respectively. Since C is the least cost country, watches will be imported by A from this country. After the formation of customs union, the import duty is abolished on imports from B while it remains in the case of non-member country C. The unit cost in this situation are rupees 1000, rupees 800, rupees 900 in case of A, B, C respectively. As a consequence, country A will prefer to import watches from country B, that is partner country, rather than the outside country C. Thus, the formation of customs union results in the diversion of trade from an outside country to the partner country. This is called as trade diversion. After the formation of customs union, the import duty is abolished on imports from B while it remains in case of non-member country C. The unit costs in this situation are rupees 1000, rupees 800, rupees 900 in case A, B and C respectively. As a consequence, country A will prefer to import watches from country B, that is partner country, rather than the outside country C. A will prefer to import watches from country B rather than the outside country C. Thus, the formation of customs union results in diversion of trade from an outside country to the partner country. This is called as trade diversion. Now, we will explain the partial equilibrium effects of the formation of customs union with the help of a diagram. So this is the diagram. This diversion effect and creation effect and other forms of effect can be explained with the help of this figure. In the above figure, quantity of the commodity watch is measured along the horizontal scale, that is OX axis, and price along the vertical axis. DA and SA are the demand and supply curves respectively of the home country A. SB and SC are the perfectly elastic supply curves of countries B, C respectively. The selling price of country A is OP1, whereas selling price of countries B and C are respectively OP3 and OP2. Thus, country C is the most efficient and home country A is the least efficient. Before the formation of customs union, country A imposes P2, P4 per unit tariff on all imports. Now, the tariff ridden price for the country C is OP2 plus P2 P4 is equals to OP4. It is still lower than A's selling price OP1. Country B is out of picture because its selling price inclusive of tariff is even higher than A's selling price. Country A will enter into trade with country C. This is prior prior to the situation of imposition of tariff or formation of customs union. At the tariff ridden price OP4, the domestic production by country A is OQ1 and the demand is OQ2, so that the quantity imported from country C is Q1, Q2. The customer surplus in this trade equilibrium is DOF P4 and producer surplus is SOEP4. The revenue receipt of the government in country A are EFLK. The measure of welfare before the formation of customs union is DOFP4 plus SOEP4 plus EFLK is equals to DOFLK ESO. If custom union is formed and the tariffs are removed in case of partner country B, while these continue exist in case of non-member country C, as the selling price of OP3 of country B is lower than that of country C, the home country will import watches from the partner country B and country C gets eliminated from trade. So this is because of formation of customs union. Now in this context, let us discuss something about the main effects after the formation of customs union. First one is price effect. As compared to tariff ridden price OP4, there is a fall in the selling price to OP3 after the customs union is formed. Production effect. Before the formation of customs union, the domestic production in country A was OQ1. After the customs union is formed, domestic production falls from OQ1 to OQ3. This fall in output is met through imports. The overall import is Q3, Q4, which is more than earlier imports Q1, Q2. The increase in imports Q1, Q3 that offsets fall in domestic production is termed as trade creation effect 1. Now let us discuss something about consumption effect. Before the formation of customs union, the quantity demanded was OQ2 and afterwards it is OQ4. Thus demand for watches rises by Q2, Q4. This additional demand is met through import from partner country B. Thus the increase in consumption Q2, Q4 is consumption effect. It is referred as trade creation effect 2. Jacob Weiner had overlooked it, but the writers like Mead, Lipsey and Johnson have recognized it. Now let us discuss something about revenue effect. Before the formation of customs union, the government in country A was obtaining revenue from tariffs to the tune of EFLK. After the formations of customs union, since imports are being made from the partner country B, the government does not receive any revenues. Thus there is loss in government revenues to the extent of EFLK. Given the trade creation effect 1 and 2, the total trade creation effect is Q1, Q3 plus Q2, Q4. So this is about revenue effect. Now let us discuss something about welfare effect of formation of customs union. The welfare effect due to the trade creation can be assessed below. Gain in consumer surplus, that is it is beneficial to the consumer, that is P4F HP3. Here consumers they get product, imported product cheaper than domestically produced product. That is why they get consumer surplus. Loss in producer surplus, that is P4EGP3. Loss in government revenue, EFLK. Welfare effect, P4FHP3 minus P4EGP3 minus EFLK is equals to change in EKG plus change in FLH. Now let us discuss something about trade diversion and reduction in welfare. While the trade creation results in a gain in welfare, the diversion of trade from non-member country C to the member country B after the formation of customs union involves some loss in welfare. The reason for it is that the trade gets diverted a more efficient or low cost country C to the less efficient or high cost country B. Before the formation of customs union, the home country A was importing Q1, Q2 quantity of the commodity from non-member country C. After the formation of customs union, quantity imported is Q3, Q4, out of which Q3, Q1 and Q2, Q4 can be identified as trade creation effect, and the remaining quantity imported Q1, Q2 is the trade diversion effect. Before the formation of customs union, the payment for importing Q1, Q2 quantity was Q1 EFQ2. Out of it, the revenue receipts to the government of the home country amounted to P2 P4 multiplied by Q1 Q2 is equals to EMNF. So the actual payment of country C for the import of Q1 Q2 quantity of watches was Q1 MNQ2. After the formation of the customs union, the same quantity Q1 Q2 is being imported from the partner country B on account of trade diversion. Since no tariff is applicable to B, the total payment to it due to import amounts to OP3 multiplied by Q1 Q2 is equals to K Q1 multiplied by Q1 Q2 is equals to Q1 K LQ2. Thus there is a larger external payment for importing the same quantity after the formation of customs union to the extent of Q1 K LQ2 minus Q1 M NQ2 is equals to KMNL, which is shown through shaded area in the above figure. This represents a loss or reduction in welfare. From this, it follows that trade diversion causes a reduction in welfare. The simple reason for the decline in welfare is that the imports are made from less efficient partner country B rather than more efficient non-member country C. Now, net welfare effect of customs union. The trade creation results in an increase in welfare. It is depicted by area EKG and FLH in the above figure. The trade diversion on the country causes a reduction in welfare. It has been shown by the area KMNL. Therefore, formation of customs union may either cause a net increase or reduction in welfare. If KMNL is equals to that is EKG plus FLH, there is neither an increase nor a decrease in net welfare. If KMNL is lesser than EKG plus FLH, the formation of customs union results in a net increase in welfare of the home country. If KMNL is greater than EKG plus FLH, the formation of customs union leads to a net loss in welfare of country A. Conclusion: the maximization of welfare can be possible only under the conditions of pre-international trade. The Pareto optimality conditions can be valid only under perfect competition and unrestricted international trade. If a customs union is formed, there is a violation of Pareto optimality condition. In a customs union, there is no doubt elimination of tariff restrictions, and it is a movement towards freer trade. Yet there may be certain imperfections in the expanded market of customs union on account of the existence of oligopolies and product differentiation. Thank you for listening.